Yo,
What it do?
what's up, man?
I'm good, man. I'm grateful to be here yet again. Another opportunity and another chance, bro, to have these conversations with you, bro. Made it through another week.
Ain't that the truth, man?
Yeah,
Yo,
it's gonna happen.
remember when I was talking to you today and how he was like, it's been one of them days, and I said it's been one of those weeks, man.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just
yeah.
been one of those weeks, man. Just been one of those weeks.
So you good? How was your week?
Man, I don't know, man, because I really don't like complaining, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, what I feel like might be, what I feel like it might be a lot compared to somebody else's situation. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
So I try to not to really complain, you know what I'm saying? But I'm human, so I do have those days where I feel like, sometimes the world is overwhelming, you know what I'm saying? And it
Right, right, right.
just so much as, just dealing with people, man, interacting with people, and sometimes it make things really, really worse than what it really is. It shouldn't even be, things shouldn't be certain things shouldn't be taken to a certain degree when it's really not that serious, for to be honest with
Oh, that's the world we live in.
you. Right. So that's why I say I
The
really
world
try
we
not to
live
complain because of that particular, you know what I'm saying, particular reason, because that is the type of world that we live in, and that is the type of, you know, um things that we kind of like go through to
in.
really be able to understand what, what life is really is about. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But
That's right.
other than that, man, try to take everything one day at a time, control what I can control and go from there.
There you go. There you go. The best part of the human body at times, it says you can be angry but sin not, So, different things can come let you disappointed. You get disappointed, you get upset, you get frustrated. But as long as and that's the part right there to me that I pray. And I'm maturing too, I'm grateful for it, Like I don't have to sin, I don't have to come out of myself. I'm trying to learn how to take a lot of things in stride, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But my thing is like even sometimes you're going to understand and realize that you just not want to know certain things. So even with the what we talking about, even with the wisdom part that we was speaking on last week,
Mhm.
you got to have enough wisdom to know that you're not even going to understand and know everything. So you just got to just take it in stride.
Yeah. And I totally understand that. But before we get into it, want to welcome everybody to Final Notice Podcast. This is a live interacting podcast. We are streaming live on Facebook, on at Final Notice Podcast, and we are also um, streaming on YouTube too as well. You can
Mm-hmm.
always reach out to us here at Final Notice Podcast at gmail.com as well too as well. Um, yeah, so tune in, chime in. We're going, it's very interactive. We do respond, we do read the comments, and we definitely, want to make sure that this is a platform, a safe platform where we can agree to disagree and also learn. And we don't claim to know everything. It's kind of like our disclaimer. So we always willing to learn as much as we feel like we have information to give. We also feel like we have enough to, we have enough humility in ourselves to also want to learn too as well. So if you're here, take a seat, take off your shoes, get your favorite beverage, get your pen and paper ready, and let's see if we can learn something from each other today, man.
Amen. Amen. Please don't hesitate to chime in, ask questions. Um, Now I have a couple of friends that watch the show. I mean, even if I'm on right now, if you want to like send a text or something, because sometimes I know they saying they don't always want to jump in the chat. And I know I said something last time about don't hit me up after the show, but it's
Mm-hmm.
fine. My thing is as long as somebody is getting something out of it, I really just said that tongue in cheek just to have fun with it. But yeah, text me. I get it. I'll read it. See what we're going through right now. See what happens.
Yeah, man. Another thing before we get into it, man, our thoughts and condolences go out to the victims from that horrific plane crash, man. That happened right there in DCA, Reagan's International Airport, man. So
Right.
our thoughts and prayers go out to those families and those who have been affected, whether directly or indirectly, from that horrific. It's 2025, and I'm with all these technology, I'm surprised that we still
Something
have
like
things like
that.
this happen where two planes can't collide as if there's no sensors, radars, towers, and all of these things going on. It's just really unfortunate. And, that's how life is, man. Sometimes and that's why I don't complain. Now you see why I say, because, you look at life and you think like, hey, it's bad, it's this and it's that. And then you see stuff like that on the news where you be like, man, somebody's just on the plane just trying to get to where they're going, whether they're going home, whether they're traveling for work, whether it's leisure, fun time, vacation, whatever it may be. They're sitting there texting their loved ones saying, hey, we about to land, and they don't even get to touch the ground. So,
yeah, it's sad, man. Really sad. I want to send my thoughts and prayers out to those that's working in the federal government.
Oh, yes, sir.
Those people that's like having to force to go back into the office when they got used to a certain lifestyle and getting served to an amount of comfortability. But, we can not, I know some people look at them like, yeah, y'all deserve to go back in there, but you don't know what those people and things had set up for their lives and everything, not only that, the people that's forced to leave their job. It's just nasty right now. I mean, I seen something on Facebook Greg had posted on there, and I was in agreement with Greg. I was like, I really didn't have any thoughts or a desire to really speak on any of the nonsense. But, as me working in the school system, and then you hear rumors and you hear different things of how ICE is going into the schools and, what I'm saying, kids. My thing is, I had a conversation with my big brother the other day, and shout out to my man Naughty. The thing to me is, we was discussing it, and it was like, part of the conversation went, if somebody goes into my house and you're there illegally, I understand, you want people to get out of there, they don't belong in there. And I'll say, me personally, I do agree with the whole illegal part. That's just me. Like, illegal is illegal. I'm with that. My thing is, when you disturbing children and you snatching them out of schools, I couldn't imagine going to school one day and I'm thinking I'm saying goodbye to my mother, and somebody coming to the school and snatch me up out of a school building, and I'm a child and I don't even see my parents no more. And he had faith and hope that, that the parents is already detained and they just waiting to take them to the parents. But my thing is, this administration has never gave me any kind of evidence to say they would do anything humane. And that's what it's on. It's like, it's at the borderline of being inhumane. And because they didn't do it the last time, they were separating kids from their parents the last time, throwing them in concentration camps and doing different things like that, So it's tough to me to sit back and think that all of a sudden this man got a conscience and now he just want to do things the right way. But again, I'm still going to pray for this country. I'm still going to pray for the people that's in charge. You got to pray for your leaders, regardless. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're the leader of your school building, the crossing guard, the leader of the crossing the gods, going down the street, the leader in the banks. It don't matter. Leader anywhere in your church, the leaders of your home. You got to always pray for your leaders, man, regardless of who or what it is and what position they hold. Always
and I do one. I got one for you, right?
Right.
This ain't the first time this has ever happened, though.
What you mean?
The way the mass immigration thing is going on.
No, I mean, Obama did it and Biden did it.
That's what I was about to say. That's exactly what I was about to say, because when I was in immigration when Obama was in office.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at the immigration very, very differently. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself in immigration because I had committed a crime.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but we can definitely have a different conversation about it. You know what I'm saying? Without having to go right into it today.
Right.
It is some things that, we all have different opinions about it.
Right.
But to those people who are, who look at it and say, oh, they deserve that. I've seen a couple of people that, that I even went to church with, or, I come to know in life, those that say that, they deserve that. I'm going to say it like this, and I'm going to keep it like that. We can keep it moving, right? Be careful when you're speaking about people's situation when you are in a place where God has blessed you and allowed you to be able to be comfortable. Just remember that, because not everybody has committed a crime or has done something wrong, or have some people run to this land as a place of hope and a refuge from what they're going through. So I get it. Yeah, is there proper ways to go through it? But yes, but out of desperation, out of fear, you do things that you probably won't do when you're in your normal state of mind. So I just want to throw it out there because I don't want to get into that because we have definitely a powerful topic for the day to follow up on. But yeah, it's really it is what it is, because at the end of the day, we knew who was coming in. We knew his agenda because he has never hid or lied about anything he's going to do. And it shouldn't be a surprise for those who voted him in. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we definitely gotta have that politic talk, bro. We have to, because it goes deep. I think it just goes deeper than just what we see. So yeah.
Well, yeah, man. If you tuning in, man, you are in you in the right place, man. So welcome to Final Notice Podcast, man. Today we picking up from where we left off that last week, Thursday. Tunnel Vision Part 2, man. I know I had a very great experience with this. Last episode was probably one of my favorite episodes I've ever done. Only because it touched up on so much things where, one thing I've tried to do now that I'm asking God to continue to groom me into that process is being able to understand people and meet people at where they are in life and their perspective and not passing any judgment. Right. So I've always grown. I'm proud of myself in that sense that I want to learn where people are coming from, so that way I know how to be able to either address them or correct what I'm doing that is wrong, right? And when we had that conversation, I think when we got offline, I told you, I said, "Yo, this is probably one of my best episodes that we've had because I gained so much out of it." And right now, where I'm at in life, in my transition of life, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can, bro. And I think that it warranted us to do a part 2 to fully finish, because it was such a great conversation. We didn't get the chance to finish everything through. And I feel like, this is something that can benefit somebody. So if you didn't get to see it, go back to our YouTube page. You can go back and watch it from the first part 1 and then come up and then you can catch up or you can see where we at now with it being a part 2. But you can go on YouTube and watch it. You can go on our Facebook page towards Final Notice Podcast, both on YouTube and also on Facebook Live too. On Facebook too as well.
All right. So let's get to it, bro. How you want to hop into it? Let's see. So last week, I guess we could do like a real nice recap. We were saying how I took the thing down. Okay, I was asking a question. I wrote it down. Thank you. The type of life that you desire is based off of what? Is one that is built on what? And that was a question that we had last week. And some people, when I was having this discussion with certain people, some of them said finances and wealth, but we know money and things like that is fleeting. They said store up your riches in heaven. This world is going to pass away. There's no need in even doing on any of that. I actually came across a scripture in the Bible. I want to say it's in the book of Proverbs. It said, "Don't even work to be rich." So that was another one that just hit me just now. One of them is, don't even work. You can't even work to be rich. And if you want to have a even more deeper conversation about the money aspect that people look for, that's why you have the scriptures about the talents in the Bible, because that actually story is about investments. You can't work to get rich anyway. You might as well just invest and get rich, because that's the laws of nature that's in the world right now. There's different things you can do, but you're not supposed to even work to be rich. But it says the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. So that's another thing, and one of the things that I was saying that if there has been times like last 2 summers, I was working really, really hard, and you get to the point where he was like, oh, you just got to chase the money. I had a couple of old school, I want to say like OGs in my life. They was telling you that, like their whole thing is like, we got to work hard. That's your whole purpose. Work hard. I don't even believe in working hard. I'm just being honest with you. I believe in working smart. I don't believe in working hard. I work hard if I have to work hard and I'm in a position where I have to like till the land, like, as the Bible says, you have to like do something so that you can bear fruit. Yes, but the goal is never to work hard. is to get to a point where you can always just work smart. The other thing that we came across was peace.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying that you know, peace to me is the concept of what the Amish people live, you know, and how their life is so simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
All this modern day technology, like you just said, all of these different things, having to go to work, deal with certain things, certain aspects of life, it actually causes you to fight against peace because it's way too many distractions, way too many things that you probably got to keep up with and try to deal with, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other one that we didn't get into was faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the part to me, I feel like is somewhat controversial to a degree. Because when you read the Bible, a lot of it says, you know, faith without works is dead, right? I have this one on here. That's what it is right there in James chapter 2, verse 26. For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also, right? So I'll put that one on just so that, you know, anybody that, because, you know, I'm trying to do better with getting the scriptures on here because that was one of the things that one of our viewers was asking about. Is another one. What's another one they tell you? The just shall live by faith alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the one I need to get. What it says, faith is the, come on, what is it? Evidence of things unseen.
Yet unseen, yeah.
Something to hope for, right? And this is where it comes at to me, right? With faith, because I know a lot of people that just live off of faith, and that's a wonderful thing to me. Like, it's not what I would prefer personally, because sometimes, like, I understand, like, that's all people have sometimes. But if you really think about faith, to me, that's the equivalent of just having hope, right? Because that's kind of what it is. You believe in something that's already done. How Kirk Franklin said it. It's like faith is not something that you believe in, like that you hope to happen. Faith is something that's already done. You're just waiting for it to manifest, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I understand that. But see, that to me is also the reason why my answer was knowledge. I mean, wisdom
Mm-hmm.
and power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because wisdom will also teach you when to and how to activate your faith. And I said that because when in the Old Testament something happened with the people, and I think they like killed a whole bunch of people. David and the soldiers was away. When David came back, he saw the carnage that was left behind, and David got on his knees and said, "Lord, should I pursue them?" And God gave him permission to go and pursue the people that captured the people and did the things, and David ran them down and killed all of them. But to me, that is the epitome of how people would sit back and be like, well, I'm just waiting on God. I'm just waiting on God. You know, and I'm just like, you waiting on God to do what? Right? It is finished. That was a conversation I was having. We speak those words every year at the 7 last words when Jesus said, it is finished. But when he finished, you know, and the response that I got was like, oh no, they're talking about salvation in that moment, everything dealing with salvation. And I'm like, yeah, that's part of it. But like you said before, when you ask and you pray God for different things, whether it be healing or newness, he has a scripture that he said he already done it to. He done it for, right? When you're sick, by your stripes, you are healed, right?
By his stripes, yeah.
Yeah. So he did it already. That's why he went to the cross. He got hit. He was bruised for your transgressions, right? Wounded for your iniquities. So at the same time, it's like by those same stripes, we are healed. So what are we praying for? Then what are we asking for? And that's why I said, like, yeah, once you get the wisdom and you really start understanding, it's going to teach you how to operate in your faith. It's going to teach you how to operate faith. It's going to teach you when to get on your knees and ask God when to pursue and when not to pursue. and waiting and have enough trust and faith in God to say, you're gonna answer me in a respectable way, and not I'm gonna go and do it, and then I'm gonna put you in and trust that you work it out. Like marriage, right? Like, oh, you want to run and you. I was talking to a friend earlier, and I was like, hey man, when y'all got married, what was the foundation of y'all marriage? And he was like, I don't even know. And I said, hey, look, man, we was all young and stupid, especially as men, and if more men be honest, because especially in the old church, they tell you it's better to burn with. It's better to get married than to burn with passion and burn with lust, or what they say. You know what I'm saying? Like the weird things that people tell you. So you thinking, hey, I'm gonna get married, then now I got a easy pass to go and clap cheeks. Sorry, pardon the metaphor and the phrase, but that's what it is. We, as a young man, you think that, like, I don't want to sin, especially when they go up in church. Oh, I'm gonna get married. Now this give me unlimited access to sex, right? But that is not a basis for you to want to get married in. And that was the thing, like, yeah, you got to go back and figure out the foundation of that. Like, what was the basis of all of those things? So that kind of lost track on that one a little bit, but I don't know why this happened to me a lot lately.
Well, so let me ask you this, right? When it comes to that whole thing about tunnel vision and your perspective on life when it comes to certain things, right? One, when we talk about, like, what is like your outlook on life? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for one of these questions that you have right here, right? Like, what is your outlook on life, right? Most people will base that answer based off of their place in life.
Right.
So you asked me that question about, like, I think, what was the question from the initial jump that you was reading on that paper right there?
Saying the life that you desire, the life that you want.
Right. So the life that you desire, pretty much like the life that you desire, the life that you want, right?
Right.
I think, remember, I told you, I said, most people will answer that question based off of where they are in life, right?
Right.
Go ahead. You will never hear a rich man say, when you say, hey, where do you like? What is the type of life you desire? Like, what is your outlook on life? Right? He's not going to tell you that I want to be poor, right? He's going to probably say I want more wealth. He's probably going to add on to what he already have. So his answer is going to be more towards something that shows that it doesn't take him back to where he was before, or leave that place where he's at. And then you might ask me a question like that for somebody that's not in that wealthy man's position, and I'm going to say, hey, well, looking at my situation, this is what I would look for, right? But I think a lot of us, we get caught up in that tunnel vision where we quick to rush the process to get to that final destination without really fully understanding what it is that we got to go through to get to that destination. And then when we get there, we forget how to even go back if something ever happened to us again, to go backwards. We don't even know how to pick ourselves up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why I said a lot of us will base what we're looking for and how our outlook on life is based on our present moment. We don't look for let me think about 20 years from now. I'm thinking about, man, look, I got these bills I got to pay.
Exactly. It is not just now. I think it's also the way we grew up. So, like I said, I'm glad you for helping me for tying that back in there, because that's what I was trying to go to. So when you're young and you're thinking about marriage, your outlook is on those little things. You don't have an overarching vision, right? So even when you say it's like, and you please jump in the chat if you want to, and there's questions if you want to answer the question. It's like necessarily like what do you see? It was like you said. So JoJo said you see bills. Right? Some people, like you said, they just see, I don't know how these bills going to get paid. I just got to hope that God is going to make a way that these bills going to get paid. Right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, but like you said, that man that has this wealth, like you said, you thought about like where he came from. A lot of people like, oh, I ain't never going back there. Right? So then their tunnel vision is so focused on riches and wealth. So now it's like my outlook and how I see things is all about money. And I've also seen the adverse of that, right? Some people only worry about money because like I said, they couldn't, like the lights was getting turned off when they was a kid. They didn't have stuff in their home. So it was like, I'm never going back there. I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we're not getting put out our house. I don't care what happens. We always going to have food on there. So like I said, that tunnel vision comes in and you only get hyper focused on the financial burdens and the financial aspect of it. But it's like, what do you see? The question is like, not only like the outlook, but how do you see life? How do you see it? Not just based off of your circumstances, but when you're looking at your life, what is it you see? Because just like JoJo said, it might just be based off of your limit, your view of God and your view of how you want to live your life could only be limited by what it is you're actually seeing right now. And that's how it ties into the tunnel vision part of the conversation. How do you actually see it? Can you only see these bills? Can you only see the suffering? Can you only see the madness that's coming out of the White House right now? And so now you're focusing on the news. You're focusing on this. What do you see? How do you see it right now? Because that might be the only reason why you see life the way that it is right now.
So let me ask you this. So, and I'm glad, you know, this part of the conversation is coming up because I'm probably one of the people that always get stuck in the moment, right?
Right.
So somebody like me who gets stuck in the moment, how do somebody like that, how do you get out of that? How do you get out of the tunnel vision? How do you actually see beyond that tunnel vision? Like, you know, without you having to be caught up in that moment, like, because you got to understand, one, we humans, right? So again, we are more prone to, you know, react to what we are currently, our state of mind, our state of being, and our state of surrounding is. So how do you obtain that part of you being a believer and walking in the likeness of Christ? How do you obtain that to be able to overlook that without having to be looking or worrying about your current situation? Because I'll give you one, right? I remember the first time my grandmother told me I'm going to America.
All right.
I've been hearing about going to America since I became able to understand language, right? And when my grandmother was saying that, she was saying it like almost like every other day when it was starting to become a reality. She kept saying it, kept saying it. I wasn't looking at it like that. I didn't even care. Like it wasn't there, right? But when I got here and I, you know, became established here, and I'm rooted in here. Now it's like I'm actually want to run back to my country.
Okay.
Because when the vision that I had for America was the land of the milk and honey, the same thing, the tunnel vision for most foreigners. Now let's take that. Let's dip a little bit into the current situation. The vision for the tunnel vision for most foreigners is that America is a land of hope, opportunity, freedom, milk and honey, wealth, everything that you see good in this world. We have that vision that America is that, right? Then we get here. Then we see that there's the suffering that, hey, I may have not have 5 loaves of bread when I was back home in my country, but I had enough to survive. Because coming over here, the tunnel vision that I had, that the focus that I was focused on and the hopes and everything that I had over here, it comes with a price that I cannot bear. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, once I came here, once I got here, it's like, hold on, this ain't maybe what I really wanted. But I was so caught up in that moment that, oh, I'm going to America. I'm telling all my friends, walking around barefooted in the dusty road in the village, I'm going to America. I get to America. There's some benefits that I've obtained here, right? But then there's a lot of suffering that I've also obtained here as well, and which I don't feel like it was really worth me being here, to be honest with you. And I know somebody's going to say, well, take your butt back to your country. Trust me, I'm working on that. But that's just the ignorant response. It's not saying that I hate the country. I just didn't know what came along with this freedom. I think a lot of us foreigners, we so caught up in that our current situation there that we run to another place, and it necessarily don't even have to be America, right? We run to a place where we think this is it. This is better than where we at. Then we get here and it's like, hold on. maybe I shouldn't have been looking at this place like the way I thought I was looking at it. You get what I'm saying?
Hey
And
man, I get it. I was reading 4 years ago when he was in office, and you started hearing those stories about all that stuff, and how like some of those gang members would just come and snatch their kids, and they came here trying to get their kids to be freed. You can go in Mexico, you can go Google cartel versus the police right now on Google.
Mhm.
And what you will see is the Mexican cartel will roll up to the police station, and they just had a gunfight in the middle of the street. It's right there on Google. Like you will see on YouTube. You go to YouTube, it's right there on YouTube. And so the crazy part about it is, like you said, that tunnel vision, like in your mind, you're like, yo, you as a parent, anybody's a parent. Like say right now, well, I would never want to live in a red state. But if I was in Florida and all of that crazy stuff was happening, and I was like, in my mind, I'd be like, with the COVID and all that stuff, in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to get out of here. Like, why would I want to be in a place where, one, they're stealing my vote, two, is a bunch of lies and misinformation, three, they're not even treating us properly and treating our people properly. You know what I'm saying? Because of the underlying racism and different things like that. No, I can't do it. I wouldn't do it. My mom is in Florida right now, still trying to get proper health care and treatment. You know what I'm saying? To try to help herself out. And I'm sorry, she probably want me to say that. But hey, I'm sorry, Mom. But that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, why in the world? I want to stay down there. I'm gonna do everything that I possibly can to go to a place where it's going to benefit me. And it's the same thing as those foreigners. Like, hey, look, man, if this is a place where that I can go and live possibly and have an opportunity, because, other people have came here in times past and probably gave them the stories and said, hey, it's way better up here than down there. I know people, like you said, they come here, they get jobs, India, this and the other, they send their money back. But like you said, but that's the thing. My only focus is the safety of my children. And then once you get here and you see the bigger picture and you see the broader things that's happening, it's kind of like, hey, man, nah. But here's how you get out of the moment to ask your question. And I'm glad you asked that question. Your mind is what they say is like idle mind is the devil playground.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you a story like this. Most people go through the things they go through and they be stuck in those moments because they don't have a plan. And that's why knowledge, wisdom is so important. You know what I'm saying? I know it says do all you get, and says get knowledge and wisdom, but all you get understanding. But you still have to gain the knowledge first. You have to exercise the knowledge and live in the knowledge and use the knowledge to gain wisdom. The more you use the wisdom and you seek answers, you'll get understanding. That's why in the book of Proverbs, like I said, I try to tell people to get read the book of Proverbs because there's a lot of smart things in it. It says, a wise man has many counsels. But again, that comes from different perspectives of life. It comes from me listening to you listening to me looking at that person and not judging them and looking down on them because of whatever happened in their life. You know what I'm saying? It comes from just getting that. And that's how you get the understanding of the knowledge and the wisdom. So I remember the first time, I'm going to say, but back, I was living here, 10 years now. So it was before I had my house. I moved from West Baltimore and I was renting a place not too far from here. And my lights got turned off. Oh, man, that was a horrible feeling. Oh, my goodness. To live in the house with my daughter and look at my daughter in her face and our gas and electric was turned off was a horrible feeling as a man, as a leader. And I'm sitting up here like, oh, my God, how am I going to get, I think I had just started work because, 10-month employee, we don't work over the summertime. And I really didn't have a plan or budgeted my money properly to last all summer. And it's crazy because you'd be surprised at how many people live like that, which is also the reason why I have a desire to want to help people financially. But my lights got turned off and I'm stressing. just like most people. Most people go through these situations, their mind is stuck on stuff. And the one question they have in their mind is, how is this going to work out?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the reason why most people only have faith, because I don't know how it's going to work out. I just got to believe God is going to work it out. But that's why it says, just, faith without works is dead, as the scripture we just put up there. So here's the thing. I got vulnerable. I had to start talking to people. I found out about the what they call it, it's like the thing from BGE that have the thing that help you with the gas and electric to get your gas and electric back on. I got that information. I had to call out of work. I went and act on that information. See, you get the knowledge. Now I'm trying to exercise the wisdom, and I'm exercising it by using the knowledge that somebody gave me to go over to the place to exercise to get help with my light bill. And it just so happened that when I got there, one of the students that was in my class, I had no idea their parent was working inside of the place where you need the money. And that's when you get like favor and the blessings. But that was me putting in I had the faith in the plan. I went and started doing the works, and then God started just making a way. And so when you started doing those things, you start operating in that manner. I didn't know it at the time. But the ultimate thing was, long story short, to try to cut it a little bit, they ended up getting the lights turned back on. But when I got paid, I had to give them X amount of money. You had to sign a paper saying that when you get paid, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, this and the other. And then I put my trust in that, and I put my hope and my faith in that plan.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, now I'm out of that thinking. I'm out of that state of mind. I don't no longer have tunnel vision, and things become clear. Right? So that's how, like, the wisdom, the knowledge, meditation, actually asking for help, because the Bible's, I think it's an old adage, but I want to say I read that in the Bible somewhere. But it's like, oh, you have not because you ask not. That is in the Bible. You have not because you ask not. The world would say closed mouths don't get fed.
Mm-hmm.
But we so prideful now, and we've come so self-dependent and self-reliant to think that, oh, I'm going to get through this, not really realizing that your help is out there. You just gotta know how and where to get it from.
Yeah, man. If you tuning in, man, welcome to Final Notice Podcast, man. We picking up our conversation. This is part 2 of our conversation from last week, Thursday, tunnel vision, and how a lot of us get stuck and get comfortable in that position where we lose focus and we only think about the moment that we're in, and how do we get out of that, and how do we look beyond our current situation, and how do we look for the bigger picture. To be honest with you, man, it's been a difficult road really to trying to get to this point in life, man.
Yes,
because
sir.
It's one of those things where, like I said, man, we look at our current state of being, and we make those decisions about how uncomfortable, where we at. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why a lot of us, we fall short in anything and everything we do, because we only have that impulsive decision making based off of our current situation, and not even thinking about, okay, if I do this, it might get me out of here for now, but what is it going to do for me later on? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we're only stuck for that particular issue that we're dealing with right then and there. So, like, a lot of the times, what I have found myself doing was that I was allowing my situation to dictate my future. Like how I move forward in the future. I was so focused about where I'm at. And I didn't really see what I had and where I really was at. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, you might feel like you're in a bad space, but actually where you at is where you're supposed to be. You're just supposed to work from there. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you got to be there. Because I'll give you one example. I remember when immigration picked me up. Right? They picked me up from Landover, Maryland. Took me to Baltimore, downtown Baltimore, right? The headquarters. From Baltimore, from that headquarters, they took me to York Correctional Facility. I was in York Correctional Facility for about 3 weeks.
In PA?
in PA, in
Okay,
Pennsylvania.
okay.
They came and picked me up one morning. Mind you, I'm a permanent resident. At least at that time, I was a permanent resident. By the grace of God, now I'm a citizen. So I have to,
There you go.
yeah.
Amen.
So I got my citizenship. But what happened was, when they picked me up and they took me to York Correctional Facility, I kept asking, why am I here? I kept asking that, right? Why am I here? Why am I here? So this is why I keep saying, if you ever find yourself in a situation, don't run to no pastor to pray for you. Don't run to no pastor to pray for you. Pray for yourself. Because that pastor that we run to, he has a judgment for himself too. And there's nothing that you can't say to God that he can say better for you. Because if I'm suffering, Aaron can't speak to God and make God feel more compassionate for me than more than I can. I'm the one suffering. Aaron's the one just, hey, God, hey, you hear that guy down there? You get what I'm saying? But anyways, I ran. Say it again.
They teach you to do that in church, though.
They do. But that's complete dependency on a pastor. That's why you run to drop the collection plate, because you're completely been taught to completely depend on him. Right. Yeah. But anyways, that's another conversation. But you get what I'm saying? So I went to your correctional facility. I'm there for this amount of time. And then I'm thinking like, okay, this is going to be a couple of weeks because I got my green card or whatever, my permanent residency card. I'm going to be out of here.
Right.
But then they transfer me to El Paso, Texas.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. So when it comes to that immigration stuff that I'm talking about, it hit different because I've been through that process. Right. But when I got there, and this is another day we can actually get into my experience with it. But when I got there, I kept asking, why am I here? Why here? And this is going back to me saying why you have sometimes where you at is where you're supposed to be in life. Right.
That's right.
Because it was there where I learned how to make myself available to God, because God made himself available to me in that time of my life. Right. So when we talk about that tunnel vision, all I kept seeing was, I need to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. But in all actuality, this is where I was supposed to be at, because it was through that suffering is where I learned. I said, oh, so if you're a believer and if you make yourself available to God, God will start revealing things to you that you probably never thought in your life that he will be able to reveal to you. But you had to sit still. You had to be put in this situation. You had to be here in order to be able to see beyond your situation. But I kept asking my mother, why am I here, bro? And when she told me, she said, well, who would you want to be there? Ask me any one of your siblings to switch places with you. And if I can pray to make that happen, I'll do it for you. And when she asked me that question, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. So let alone my own siblings. So you know what? I'm supposed to be here. So once I bought into supposed to be where I'm at and not focus or get in tunnel vision to be somewhere else than where I'm at, that's when I started having that relationship with God, and I actually learned how to read my Bible. Most people think it's just you picking up the Bible and just flipping through and reading scriptures. No, there's a certain way you read the Bible. It's not just you picking it up, and if you pick it up and read it like a storybook, that's what you're going to get out of it, like a storybook. But if you read it line by line and really understand exactly, ask for that, clarity and understanding from God himself, there's so many secrets within each scripture that you will start to really understand how powerful God is and how we play with God. You know what I'm saying? And when I got to that point, that's when I said, okay, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in this situation. So now how do I grow from this situation that I'm in right now? Because I think a lot of us, we rush out of these situations trying to get to the end of to get to the brighter side of things and forget that it's the learning process we have to go through. So when we get there, we can really appreciate that process. So with that whole tunnel vision thing, bro, a lot of it's including myself. Like I said, I still struggle with that. Right. But then I remember those days and things that I've gone through, and it helps me get through it because there's some things that I'm supposed to learn. And I think a lot of us, we rush that process and we really miss exactly what God is trying to teach us.
So I went through exact same process, and I heard, I think it was Juanita Bynum. preach on something, and you had a Joseph experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's not to say that your actions didn't warrant you to be there, but what you're saying to a degree, it was like that Joseph experience. He was in prison, and like you said, that tunnel vision, he's trying to get out. And what she said was like, what if Joseph tried to orchestrate his own prison break? That messed me up because sometimes, like you said, when we find ourselves in these situations, we want to get out of it so bad that, and that was that's my thing. That's what I learned, how not to chase money, to go back to the earlier part. Because everything that I did, I've never seen really the rewards of it. That's how I learned how to like, oh, something is not right with this. Something is wrong. And now I have to sit back and figure out, why does this keep happening? Now I got to seek God's face. And that's when wisdom started kicking in like, oh, nah, this ain't right. This ain't right. We get ourselves in these situations. We chase the bag, work real hard. We just and the other. And the situation still isn't worked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what if I did hit the lottery? Or what if I did made a whole bunch of money? What if I did these things? I would not have the financial literacy, the financial discipline, and the proper planning now, right? So, yes, we have to go through certain things. But I also want to say, I hope that we as believers get to the point where we can stop saying that God is punishing us. Right? You ended up in your situation because you don't know what prayer your mother prayed over you. And if you think about it, if you go back and think about the things that you was praying about, even when you were going through what you was going through, I'm almost sure in the midst of that prayer, God was answering your prayer, which is why you was in there. I really want people to say, like, because, I grew up believing that God is punishing you when bad things is happening. But Galatians chapter 3, verse 13 says, Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone who hung on a tree. So all of those curses, like we serve in the barter system, like it's still the Old Testament, right? Them curses was nailed to the tree. All of them daggone curses. So my thing is, if that is true, then why do we experience these bad things, right? Just like you said, we're supposed to be there. Why are we supposed to be there? Maybe it's because, just maybe, God put you in this place so that he can answer your prayers, right? Stop thinking that you're being punished. Stop thinking like a curse is upon you and all of these things is happening. Because if you really think about what's really hurting when we go through those things, it's only our flesh. Because we have never succumbed to any of those things. I had somebody ask me years ago, well, if that's the case, then why do babies die? Why do good people die? I said, but the Bible says we all have sinned and fall short of God. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. Nobody is good. Good is a misunderstanding. We bring babies into this world underneath of the curse of Eve. That's there, yes. We was all born in sin, but now that we have Jesus Christ, and now that it's up to the people, which I think a lot of people just take for granted, to cover those that's underneath of that, because the fervent prayers of the righteous availeth much. That's why I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when I see people on Facebook and they celebrating these like young kids, 19, 20 years old, and they having babies and throwing baby showers, the first thing I do is pray. I pray over that child every single time. I don't talk about them. I ain't this, that, and the other. The first thing I do is I pray, because I try to pray over that kid. And just maybe when those kids is little, and if something happens to them, it's because somebody didn't pray over them. It's not to say that the curse and things like that don't exist, but because we are now believers, because we have accepted God in our lives, and Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, those curses now becomes secondary to God's power. And if the fervent prayers of the righteous availeth much, if I can pray over that little baby, and like I do to these little kids in school, it's kind of funny because, like I said, the last part, I look at them little kids when I go to school. You don't know what situation they came up from home. I try to hug some of them. I tell them have a great day. I go to them and try to encourage them. Hey, man, make sure you're using your words today. Try to put your emotions down because you don't know what kind of seeds you plant inside of them. Mm-hmm. But that's me having vision, a broader vision deeper into their future. Pray over those kids when I go in that building. You know what I'm saying? Pray over the building before I go in there because you don't know how that's going to affect them kids. There was one girl who used to get in trouble all the time. I'm like, you in pre-K getting in trouble. You in kindergarten getting in trouble. You in first grade getting in trouble. I talked to one of the, and I, like I said, every day, people look at that kid like, oh, don't talk to her. She been acting up today. Oh, she bad. I looked at that little girl. I was talking to one of the climate control guys that deals with the behavior issues. He said, man, I don't even think I got one message about this young girl that got in trouble none this year. And the difference is you can tell, although her circumstances, when you look at her, still looks the same. Mm-hmm. You look at her and tell that there's a certain peace, there's a certain confidence that she has now. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how, I don't know how or where that came from, but who's to say that that wasn't the prayer that somebody prayed over her that's helping her learn not to get in trouble. Learn, not, you know what I'm saying? You're cultivating it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to stop that old school vision and that old school work and saying, oh, yeah, this is happening because, oh, that baby was born in sin or their parents wasn't married or this, that, and the other. Yeah, but even if that's the case, you're a believer. Why not pray over it? If you're a believer, why not? Because we know as believers, the curses have been hung because nailed to the cross because we believe. Mm-hmm. Go pray over them people then. Stop looking at what you see. My mother used to tell me all the time, you need to stop praying. You need to stop looking at people and start praying and asking people to show you how God see that person. And I think that's the reason why I kind of like try my very best to treat people the way that I treat them today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to treat you the way that God see them. Mm-hmm. Because if I do something wrong to them, that means I'm doing it unto God.
And I think I told you that I had a whole different perspective coming in from last year to this year. Like I wanted to be able to meet people where they at and try to understand, you know, where they're coming from, to listen without passing judgment on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because not that I was doing it like a lot and or nothing like that. It's just so like I always felt like my point of view was more important than their point of view. You know what I'm saying? And I've learned that, hey, it's okay for me to disagree with you, but done in a respectful way. But I still want to know why you came up with, you know, whatever it is that you're coming up with, because maybe if I be quiet and I listen to you and I shut you down, maybe I might find out that maybe my perspective on it might be wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be wrong. You know, I don't have to be right. You know, so kind of like look at everybody's perspective and see where they're coming from and kind of like meet them there, because at the end of the day, you know, everybody has a point of view. But going back to like that tunnel vision and what our outlook on life is.
I'm sorry, can I add something before you go to there real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I finally found the scripture because it just hit me in my spirit. Romans 5, chapter 20 and 21 says, but where sin abounds, grace did much more abound, right? Mm-hmm. That as sin has regained, I hate the King James Version. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can open this up real quick in the Bible app. But the idea of that is like when you see people sinning and when you see people off, us as believers have to show more grace. We have to show more of that. That's why, to go back on what we were saying earlier about the immigrants and the people like that, yeah, they wrong. That's the sin. But as a believer, we can't pick and choose what we want to, where do we want to look at them, from the world aspect or from a believer aspect. We always going to have to stand on the standpoint of God and what God is saying, what God said we were supposed to believe in. And because I know that them people are wrong, I'm going to love them all the more. I'm going to love them more than they sin. I'm going to have more grace on them. you know what I'm saying, where they fall short at. And that's what we're supposed to do. But again, we get to the point where we so stuck on self, and the world has taught us to focus inward and on us and our family and our hope and our things like that. And don't get me wrong, you have to do that sometimes to preserve yourself, to heal yourself, because you can't go out and keep giving. You don't have anything. But you still have to let that build up inside of you. And once that build up inside of you, you become more mature. You have to walk that way. Once you know, you got to walk therein. But I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Nah, you have a really good point. A real good point, because but then I have a question to that, right? When as far as like when you say giving people more grace, right?
Right.
Believers, we talk bad about people like we haven't done anything wrong,
which is crazy.
That's what I told you. It hit me when I was like, man, I'm talking about, I'm doing the same thing and saying the same thing to these people that I'm doing the same thing that I'm telling these people not to do what they doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And I feel like it's just like going back to what you were just saying as far as like the whole immigration stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
First thing I hear is, oh, well, they come out here and they commit crimes.
That's numerically inaccurate. Like what you call it? That is statistically inaccurate.
Bro, they told me they come in and they kill. And I said, hey, the Americans have spilled more blood on this land than the people that came on this land.
Mm.
So it's like, to me, that's when I have the whole thing like, okay, let's be compassionate to other people's situation before we just start running off and saying X, Y, and Z. Especially you Africans, man. Especially the Africans that come to this country, man.
Oh.
Especially them.
Let you deal with your people.
What? Man.
Go deal with your people, man.
Bro, they piss me all the way off, man. And the reason what pissed me off is you got some that was sitting in that village eating their fufu and their kenke and their bonku and stuff like that, right? Sitting around waving the flies off their plate and off their hands. And you get to America, and now you get fork and knife and the plates. And now you think you're better than the next foreigner. Oh, you're American now, right? But if the law if he passed the law says, if you're not a natural born citizen of this land, you have to go back to your country.
I'll take it deep because somebody just told me this earlier. If that's the case, then let's give the land back to Indians or Native Americans. Right?
Oh, they ain't doing that.
You know what I mean? Because all of us are foreigners to this land.
Right.
And I didn't even think about that. And I'm like, that's weird because what you often find is that there are a lot of Black people. It's so sad to me that uses white talking points and it creates a superiority complex to talk down on other people. It blows my mind.
Bro,
like even the feminist movement, right? The feminist movement was never for Black women. But if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was Sojourner Truth, or was another one of them, Sojourner Douglas, or was another one of them. I'm sorry if I'm mixing this up. It was one of them Black women they invited out to their feminist rally, these white feminist rallies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they told her to shut up. Don't even speak on your issues and your problems, but just join our cause. And it was like, no, that feminist thing wasn't even for Black women. It was for white women. And then you turn around and you find out that the DEI stuff, 70% of DEI hires have been, these jobs and these positions has been taken by white women. But they supposed to be for people of these different things. So you, as a Black person, adopt this mindset of white supremacists or white superiority complexes, and now you want to hold those standards against other people. It's time for you to have a Romans 12:1 moment, and you got to renew your mind. You got to renew your mind every day. You got to renew your mind so that you can reset your mindset, so that you can reset your vision and not have just tunnel vision. Because if you're looking at these things of this world today, it's wrong. Yeah, I'm just telling you right now, you're wrong. It's not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and like I said, it's sad, man. It's really, really sad to. But again, that's just people just living in their moment. That's just they're not looking at the bigger picture. They're just stuck in the moment. And to me, I feel like if we can get out of that tunnel vision and just stop looking at things where we at and start actually working towards a better future for tomorrow, I think that's when a lot of our problems will be, because we get stuck. We get stuck, man. We get stuck. I remember I used to with my cousin. Shout out to Sam. I used to be like, this was before I came up. He was like, yo, let's go here. I said, man, I ain't got no money. He said, let's go do this. I said, I ain't got no money. He said, let's go here. I said, I ain't got no money. He said, hey, man, you need to stop saying that, man. I said, what you mean? He said, if you keep saying you ain't got no money, you will never have no money. You got to get out of that moment. He said, get out of that moment. Get out of that mindset. Stop saying it. This is where you at. Stop thinking ahead like, yo, I'm going to have money. So I started thinking different. I was like, all right. So he's like, yeah, let's go. All right, let's go. I know I'm going to get some money. Whether I'm doing it the right way or the wrong way, I believing in that. I was believing in that. You know what I'm saying? I bought into that. I bought into that mindset where I stopped thinking broke and actually started thinking rich, and stuff started happening. Right. And then as I got older, I went from, man, let me just get a townhouse. That's all I wanted, Aaron. I just wanted a townhouse. I didn't care what it was, where it was, how big it was. I just wanted a townhouse. And my brother came up to me, my older brother. He said, why do you keep just saying you want a townhouse? I said, well, that's what I want. He said, but if they give you a loan for this amount and you can get a single family home, why not get a single family home? I wish I had the loan amount that they gave you, because I wouldn't want to be in that townhouse. So when he said that, I said, dang, you know what? I'm going to start looking for a single family home, because all my tunnel vision was a townhouse. I didn't see the bigger picture. I wasn't thinking big. I was still thinking, just let me get this. Well, God is blessing you to go beyond this. But because we stuck in our moment, and because I was just stuck in that moment, all I thought about was that 3-level, 4-level town home with the suite upstairs, man. But then, Aaron, when I went to go see one of those homes, right, in Brandywine, Maryland, right?
Right.
The guy said it's a 4-level town home. I said, okay, we get the real big one, right? Right. I said, where's the elevator?
And he walking up all them steps.
What?
My man's got one of them.
Aaron, no, man.
The top floor is amazing. I would never go downstairs though. Like we had to redo that. We had to put the kitchen on like the 3rd or 4th floor, but something ain't going over there.
When he said, "Oh, this is a 4-level, it has a loft," I said, "Oh, this is nice." So I said, "Oh, is there a way for us to go upstairs?" He said, "Yeah, you just go up these steps. It's about." I said, "Hey, I'll meet you guys in the kitchen. Give me about 10-15 minutes. Let me."
You're too young for that.
Man, what? But after that, it's just like, oh, man, let me go this route, because at least maybe 1 or 2 flight I can do that. Especially if I got to bring these things up myself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I stopped thinking for the moment, and I started buying into what my brother was saying. I got out of that tunnel vision. I was like, you know what? He ain't lying. Maybe I should start looking into, buying a single family home. And I was able to do so. But it just was showing you, like, when we talk about that tunnel vision, you can even shorten your own blessing by just staying in your own moment. A lot of us as believers, we short ourselves these blessings because we get so complacent and we worry about where we are in our current state of being. We get stuck right there and we don't even move forward.
Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, nor the thoughts have entered to the minds of men the things that God has in store for us.
Man, I'm telling you.
And so we have to have, again, if you set your mind small, actually, what I tell people what that scripture really means is that every time God shows up, he's going to blow your mind, right? Anytime you ask somebody for $5 and they give you $20, that was God touching their heart. and blessing you with more than what you asked for. Because if you was believing God to give it to you, and God was the one that truly gave it to you, and now if they just gave you $5, it's nice to be grateful and be thankful for God that what you got. But God has to show up and blow your mind every time he appears. He has to, because he has to do exceedingly abundantly above what you ask for thing. So what you asking for God, he has to show up and give you more than what you're asking for. So me, I don't just pray and ask God to, save my mother, for instance, or save my brother. No, save the whole house. Even the dogs. Like I'm not just saving I'm everybody. Everybody's getting it. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, you got to do more. You know what I'm saying? Like if I see somebody sick, like heal them, heal their children, heal their body, heal their mind. I ask God to show up so that he can get the glory out of it. You know what I'm saying? The only way that God can show up and get the glory out of it, God has to move in a way that blows people's minds. Because now it's like, wow, you did this. Wow, you did that. I got more than what I really asked for. But if you don't think big and you don't, try big. In fact, one of the things I want to do with home improvement, my mentor, the guy that showed me how to do carpentry and different things like that, showed me and gave me really the real passion to do it. When I told him what I wanted to do, he said, man, when you get into this business, you got to go big or don't go at all. That's what he told me. Like, you can do the muscle and the bustle. And I'm 42, right? My plan is like the next 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 max. If I have to go and do the labor, that's what I have to do and go and build the labor, do the labor to get it off the ground. But see, if I gave myself 2 to 3 years, that means it's only going to take 1 or 2 because God has to exceed that. God has to show up. God has to grow the business and do things, but the business is not just for me. It's the vision that he put inside of me to carry out. You know what I'm saying? I have to expand and I have to do it big because not only that the passion that he gave me, that he put the vision that he put inside of me, the mission that I have to carry out is not for me, but it's for other people. It just so happens that he already utilized the gifts and the talents and the tools that he put inside of me when I was a younger child, learning how to do carpentry. It just coincides with that. So yeah, I'm not just going to focus on being a carpenter and then just doing these odds and end jobs and fixing things up. You know what I'm saying? I even got to the point, like you said, like you got to speak things, you got to say things. I said, I don't want to do all the end jobs no more. I don't want to do little things. What I want to do with my gifts, if I'm not working for myself and building up my wealth and I'm not moving towards that goal, I really don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to sit around here. Don't get me wrong. I have the skills to do it and the talent to do it, but I don't want to do it like that anymore because all it's going to do is wear my body out. You know what I'm saying? Take away the time that my daughter might needs me and different things like that, or the things that, or like even this podcast. I don't even want to put nothing ahead of this podcast because this podcast is more divine in the work that we're doing than anything else I got to do. So why would I put that ahead of this podcast? No, I want to focus on the things that he wants me to do, and I'm going to allow him to work the rest out, like we said last week. If I'm worrying about, if I'm concerned about doing something for him, and I'm trying to encourage somebody, I'm trying to plant a seed in somebody, I'm trying to, build for the future, why wouldn't he take care of my things on the back end? He's going to make a way. I need this electricity. I need food to be energized and nourished. I need to keep my skin clean. I need things. And that's just the bare minimum things that you have to trust and believe in God for, because I need those things just to get on this camera and make sure I look presentable to do his work. It's the small, simple things.
Yeah, nah, you're absolutely right, man. You're definitely right. And I think a lot of us, once we start appreciating our current state of being, and it's funny, man. So my older brother called me. I called my older brother and he was going into work, right? And I was like, yo, what's up, man? He said, nothing, man. I'm about to be in the trap house, right? Because that's what we call the job. I'm like, you in the trap house? He be like, yeah, I'm in the trap house. I be like, all right. He said, yo, I don't want to be here, man. I said, yeah. He said, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. I hate coming in this place. I do not want to be here. But I know it's for the moment. But you know what I started praying about? I said, yeah. I said, what you been praying for? He said, you know, I stopped praying for myself to get out of this place. And I started praying for you and your other 2 siblings.
Wow.
He said, I started praying. I said, God, bless my siblings so that way they can come get me out of this place. So if I know they'll make it, he said, I know if they make it, I know they'll turn around. If there's some left in their hand, they'll come take care of their big brother. And when he said that, he also said, he said, but I'm humble.
Right.
I am humble in my current situation.
That's right.
When he said it though, bro, I took it and I said, man, you know, that's not what a lot of us do. A lot of us, we want to get out of this situation. Our goal is to get out of that situation. But he's saying, as much as I hate being here, I stopped praying for myself to get out of here, and I stopped praying for one of y'all to be successful so y'all can come get me out of here.
That's right.
He said, but through all this that I'm saying, I'm still humble in my lower state. Right. And I said, big bro, I said, God is going to hear one of our prayers, man.
That's right.
One of us is going to be successful in this land. Because you know, we're not even the first generation of this country with my last name. We're not. My son is the first generation with that last name and his 2 sons. That's it. So if you ever hear my last name linger in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, and Baltimore, if you guys want to claim it, you know, you guys don't claim, so I have to exclude you guys.
I don't understand people from Baltimore. Do not include me in that. Because you get what I'm saying? DMV without having Baltimore. That doesn't make it.
We know Baltimore. No, Baltimore is a very special place.
But you know a lot of people from here that don't think I'm from here anyway. So,
but you know, Baltimore will always hold a special place in my heart because Baltimore showed me don't screw around.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess maybe I take it for granted. I be here all the time.
That's what I was about to say. You know this, whatever. But shout out to the east side and the west side, man. Shout out to North Avenue, man. So Baltimore told me if you leave off campus, you might not return back to campus.
when you was talking about this Bible scripture came up, Philippians 4:11. Philippians 4:11. Not that I speak in regard to need, for I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. And it's not to say that you don't have desires to move on. Mm. It's that you're not so fixated with your tunnel vision. I tell you a situation that happened with me. Like I said, I was staying in this house. And a lot of people didn't know this. You know, I was renting out this place, and the owner who had the spot, the husband, it was a married couple. But the husband called me and told me, whatever money you was going to send me, keep it. And I was like, well, what's good? He said, the bank is taking the house back. And you got to find some place to move. I want to say it was like in 2 weeks or something like that. It wasn't even like a 30-day notice. I was like, that's crazy. But I went around and I was running around trying to find a place to stay. Come to find out, don't want to dime him out. He probably don't care right now. We over it anyway. My brother back in 2010 got locked up and used my name. But he told me that he used my name. I just didn't understand, like, when they run through the system and everything like that, they're going to find out that it's him. I didn't really care. But I didn't find out until 2000. I want to say it was like 2012, 2013. How it impacted me. And I couldn't get a place because every time they did the background check, they was bringing this nonsense up. And they was like, oh, you got locked up. I said, I've never been in jail a day in my life. In fact, I accidentally walked in jail one time and the hairs on the back of my neck stuck up and on my arm. I was like, I know I don't belong in here. I don't belong in here. Go ahead, bro. I'm telling you, I was freaking out. But I say all that to say, when I couldn't find no place to stay, it was in my spirit, it was like rest. And I was like, what are you talking about? It was like rest. And it was like, well, if the bank taking the house back, it don't belong to him no more. So I'm gonna wait till the bank put me out. That was the thinking. I'm gonna wait till the bank put me out. But I had enough conviction and humility to pray and say, I had everything packed up by the front door. And I prayed and I said, Lord, don't let me move too fast that I miss you. And don't let me move too slow that you move without me. And I was praying because I was on edge. The situation I was in was not, I have a little girl. All of my stuff is in here. I don't want my stuff to be set out on the street. I used to be so scared about that. But I kept hearing relax. Long story short, I probably stayed there probably like another year, I want to say. I don't know. A lot of people got mad that I stayed there, but I lived there for a whole year and ain't paid rent. And I lived in a spot, and it didn't feel good because everything inside of me as a man was like, oh, you're supposed to be paying rent. But I used that time to build my credit up, and that's how I bought my house. And that prayer, I prayed all the time until one day Isis woke up, my daughter woke up and said, hey, Daddy, I had a dream all our stuff was sitting outside. Now, she ain't know none of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the prayer. I said, like, I don't want to be here too long that all our stuff sitting outside. And then Isis was like, woke up one day, she said, hey, Daddy, I had a dream all our stuff was outside. I said, yeah, time to go. It's time to go. But I had to learn how to be content in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't trying to have so much of tunnel vision, but my faith, my understanding of God, my knowledge of God, how he was moving, allowed me to be content in that situation. Whereas though I had to learn, I had enough wisdom to know I got to learn how to trust in him. I had to learn how to allow him to maneuver this situation, because if it was left up to me, I'd have missed that whole situation. And I probably still would have been paycheck to paycheck, trying to get my credit together, trying to do this and the other. I don't know, but I know that God used that situation to get my finances together so that I can buy this house. But that's the whole thing. You got to learn how to be content and not so focused on trying to get out of something that you miss God in the midst of you trying to do that. You don't want to be like Joseph, because if you was like Joseph and got out of there, hey man, when you get up there, remember me. Tell Pharaoh I'm down here interpreting dreams, homie. Don't forget me. He got up there, he still ain't think about him until one day he needed him. But could you imagine if Joseph got bitter? I ain't interpreting nobody dream. I ain't this and the other. I'm still stuck in here for no reason. He'd have missed out. The second powerful person in the land.
Yeah. I had a friend who told me that he was like, you know what I be praying for? I said, nah. He said, I be praying that whatever God has to show me, I don't miss it.
Yes, sir.
And I really said that.
That's my prayer today. Yeah, I still pray that.
Like, man, that's real deep. I said, well, why you be praying like that? He said, because I'm something I'm supposed to learn. I'm supposed to learn something, but if I miss it, then I'm not going to be able to learn it. And, maybe the way I'm going to learn it is not going to be the way that I want to learn it.
We'll have 40 years. You be like the children of Israel in that wilderness for 40 years. I don't have 40 years to figure it out, buddy.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I pray that. I pray that to say, Lord, especially when you start realizing that crazy stuff is popping up.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, no, this ain't right. Like, I'm that aware to know that, oh, all right, something ain't right. I said, Lord, whatever you're trying to teach me, allow me to learn it. Allow me to get it so I don't have to repeat it. If it's something that I'm doing, help me correct it. Because I don't know about y'all. I prayed and asked God to do some things in my life. And when he did it, I ain't like it. I don't know about you.
Hey, let me tell you something.
I ain't like it.
Hey,
I want to do it. Teach me. Help me go through it.
Hey, man, you got to be careful what you ask for, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What you ask for. What Jay-Z said, what he said, be careful what you ask for. You just might receive it, he said. I see, I said, my wonderful self.
Yeah, I said.
Yo, you got to be careful, man. Make your prayers.
What do you say? Got stoned every day like
Jesus did. Yeah. So you got to be very careful about what you ask for, man.
Yeah,
you're definitely right about that, bro.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, definitely another great conversation, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I hope you guys got something out of this, man. Like at the end of the day, we say, it's a very interactive podcast where we share a lot of our ideas. We don't claim to say everything we do here is right or we say everything right, but we do come from a place of good intention and good heart, not from any prideful way or anything like that. So we're here to learn and also here to grow as an individual and as a person, especially as men. To be able to go forward and complete the mission that we are sent out here for. Because the Bible says his word shall not return to him void until it's completed what it was sent out for. I think that's the book of Isaiah chapter, was it 54 or was it 40 something? I forgot what it is. But, we definitely want to make sure that, we are doing our part, use our experiences to help somebody else out. You know what I'm saying? We're not monetized. I don't get paid to come on here and tell you my personal business. But what I do is that I hope I come out here and I tell you what I've gone through to help encourage you to be able to get to that next level of your life without you having to be stuck in that tunnel vision, to move forward in your life. But mostly importantly, like, hey, look at me. If God has done it for me or Aaron, there's no reason why God won't be able to do it for you.
Amen.
And that's the whole reason why we do this podcast is because we take the time out of our lives to be able to share these experiences with you. We tell you the things that your pastor ain't going to tell you. Your pastor won't be looking good. I'm going to tell you the dirty side about everything, and I'm going to tell you about how I became clean. So I definitely give you everything from the jump to the, from where I started at to where I'm at now, where I plan to go by the grace of God.
Amen. Yeah, man. Just going to keep fighting the good fight. We pray that you ask God to give you the revelation and the things that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I pray that it's always a fortifying message, something that's going to strengthen you, empower you. Because to me, that what JoJo was talking about, to me, is the reason why a lot of churches, even to this day, is failing. And I say that because I don't believe they're empowering you. You don't have any power. They're not trying to empower you. They're trying to continue to just give you hope. I was just saying that earlier today. People's like, hey, man, what you want you to do is we want you to trust and believe in God and give us your money. And I'm not saying this to everybody because, like I said, there's different levels to giving, sacrificial giving, and different things like that. But if God gave you a job and gave you the ability to work that job and earn money, he made a way for you already. That's the way that he made for you. Pay your bills. Do the things that you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Take care of those things. The church is in us, and I'm not saying that any of these things are like tear down anybody. And yes, we don't get paid for this. We really take our time out because we really like having these conversations. We really like glorifying God. The Bible says when 2 or 3 in the midst, 2 or 3 are gathered together in his name, God is in the midst. So we're doing these things to glorify God. And even if God comes back and correct us, I'm going to get on here and be the first one to tell you. Paul said,
me.
yes, sir. I am just like Paul. I am a sinner. And I'm a chief sinner. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect in any way because I have flaws, a lot of flaws. And like I say, I do all of these things to encourage my brothers and sisters, anybody that want to listen to this word, so that we can get up together. Because we, like the old church say, we do it better when we do it together. But that's the really good one. But I had a conversation with one of my coworkers. I said, I don't work for money. There's not enough money. They can't pay me. They don't pay me enough money to do what I do. When I go in there and encourage little kids and try to help them become better, love on them because I know that they're not getting it at home, try to go out my way and give them extra food. I don't have to do any of that stuff. That is not what they paid me to do. So I don't work for money, and I'm not doing this for money. We're not getting monetized or, like I said, and get money for this. But the sole purpose is to encourage you. And like I said, because we do look for God, if all those my mind, man, it's like a computer. I be wanting to say something, and I'll be like, nah. But just know that in Mark, the book of Mark, the Bible says, a house divided can't stand. So we're speaking against the ignorances and the injustices of the world, the different things that Satan tries to do. We speak against the predatory behaviors and different things like that, so that we can help our brothers and sisters It's not to tear church down. It's to glorify God. And God don't even want you to be ignorant of that. That's the reason why he sent us here to talk about it. We are here to talk about it because God sent us here to talk about it. And we're not trying to tear anybody down. And no, we not, because I don't know about you, but I've been called the demon before and called the devil. People told me not
to call you the devil?
Yeah, somebody called me the devil. Told me not even come over the house no more. Never got an apology for it, but it's all good. I'm not mad at any of those things. But like I said, I know the truth. I know the true living God. I know that I'm not doing anything, but I'm going to speak truth to it. And I'm not deceived, and I don't need other people to validate who I am. I don't. I'm just going to walk in what he called me to be. That's all I need to do.
Yeah. What's your final notice for today, man?
My final notice for today is to all the men in the world that might hear this message. And I want to use one of these big SAT words, but I don't want to say it wrong. I'll use it like Paul said. I beseech you, therefore, my brother. All the men out there, I pray that you really tap back in and remember who we are, who we were created to be. I mean, I believe that Black men outrage is just as profitable as all of these women that gets addicted to the shopping networks and the Chanel bags and different things like that. Everything is a profit. Black power is profit. Black unity is profit. They are profiting off of Black anger right now. They're profiting off of you. They are using you to stay angry and to make you forget who you are as a Black man. And I say that to say, when we take our position and we do what we're supposed to do, I promise you things start changing for the good and back to the way things are supposed to be. But I know that there has been a systematic thing in place to castrate us as men, and we can't let that happen. So that's my final notice for the day.
Well, I got two. First one is, if you're a man, you don't wear a dress. That's it. Don't wear a dress. There's nothing fashionable about a man wearing a dress. Period.
That was so left field.
my second one for the day, right, is for my foreign people, man.
Yeah.
If you are a foreigner and you have any loved one that has been deported by the United States government, you know, the Bible says we have to respect the law of the land.
Yeah.
No matter how painful it may be, it is the law of the land. But I want my heart to go out to any and everybody that's affected, either directly or indirectly, when it comes to immigration. Whether you have committed a crime in this land or you have not, and you just came here to seek refuge, my heart goes out to you. If you're a foreigner who has your legal status in this country, shut up. I want you to shut up. Don't be insensitive to those who are suffering, because it could easily be you and I that is sitting in that position.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything good to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, shut up. Keep it very simple. Don't speak on their situation. You know what I'm saying? Be compassionate to those who are going through it. Because at the end of the day, we were all living in somebody's village before we came here to be able to enjoy the success that we have enjoyed. But let's not make it seem like we're better than them. So if you don't have anything positive to say, or say, hey, you know, my heart goes out to you guys, don't tell me about what you believe Donald Trump is doing for this country. Because if Donald Trump wanted to get rid of you, he can get rid of you too as well. All he has to do is pass a law or bring up a law that says, if you're not a natural born citizen of this land, half of these people in this country would be gone by now. Only our children will be the ones remain. But then he will tell you, if you want your kids, take your kids with you. So then they won't even be here. So let's not just be quick to run our mouths, because God has allowed us to be in a position where we have some safety or some type of foundation and think we're better than the next person.
The Bible says, take heed unless you fall.
Man.
And what that basically means is, here's the way systematic oppression and different things work. And just in case y'all don't know, let me help y'all get a little bit of information. And the reason why the world is so in chaos now, because when you look up and I'm not going to blame any particular person or group of people, but we know who they are. They penetrated certain groups of people, and they turned around and said certain things are okay. And once they got those group of people to say that this is okay, it became okay, and things became wicked, right? And y'all know what I'm talking about. Just let it apply where it apply. But the thing becomes, when you see this is happening to those people, you better take heed, because it could easily happen to you. And what they're trying to do is desensitize you, and they're trying to make you think that it's okay, so that when you let your guard down and you point the finger at them and like, well, toodaloo, goodbye, it's on you, guess who they're coming for next? Because once y'all let them know that that is okay, they coming for you next. So that's the reason why you have to be very, very careful on situations like that, because it can easily happen to you. Easily,
man. And that's kind of like where I said, you know, if you don't have anything nice to say about it, man, just be grateful that you're not in that situation, because I've seen so much, and I'm telling you, it's so much that I can talk about in that situation, man.
It's sad. It's sad that people think that way, but you know, especially when you hear believers, because realistically, it's just that white national Christian. That's the white nationalism and that white Christian point of view. Because I seen a post where somebody was talking about DEI, and he was dogging DEI. I'll say, when you think about it, yo, that's a white person thing. And the reason why it's a white person thing is because we grew up in neighborhoods that was diverse. We had the Asian person in there, we had the African person in there, we had the white people in there. Us as Black people in our communities and where we came from, it was always diverse. We never had a problem with diversity. Never. We even had, in my neighborhood, I lived right next door to a transgender man my whole life. He was just another person. It was just a neighbor in the neighborhood. So for me to grow up and then start hating on people like that, it's blasphemous. It's crazy to me. Like, I grew up thinking or believing and knowing that you're supposed to love your neighbor, my next door neighbor, as I love myself. So why would I trash this person or treat this person any different? What that person is doing between them and their God, and I ain't got nothing to do with it. My job is to love you, because that's what God called me to do. But once y'all make that okay, guess who they coming for next?
Yeah. I've already kind of like, I've been checked out of this country. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I've been checked out. I was just telling my mom the other day, I was like, yo, Mom, I think
you got too much work to do, man. You got too much work.
My work is not here, man. I don't think my work is here. Yeah, my work is not here. My work is not here. It may have started here, but to finish here, nah.
It ain't gonna be here. Nah. I hear you. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm seeing some of them videos about Africa.
I'm sure you have. Come down there and get yourself in trouble, man.
No way.
You ain't gonna want to come back to America. The only reason why you're gonna come back is because you're a princess. Other than that, you know, like, hey, I'll buy you a ticket and you can come visit me, man.
She might be happy living in Japan, but they got too many volcanoes. They too close to them jokers over there with them nuclear weapons.
You talking about the Rocket Man?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what they call him, Rocket Man. Hey, yo, in this world that we live in, people have came to get some titles in it for themselves, man. You get what I'm saying?
Agent Orange named him that, though.
Right, he called him Rocket Man.
I forgot all about it till you just
I
said
ain't gonna forget that.
I forgot all about
Don't be like the Rocket Man.
I ain't got time to be fooled.
They've been trying to kill him for a minute. They can't get Rocket Man.
They might be allies to us, Japan, but my thing is they got all the advanced systems here. So, bro, you know,
that's their cousin. You think their cousin is gonna give up? Anyway,
that's what I'm saying. Might be cool, but I ain't giving you all.
Yeah, we cool. We ain't that cool. I ain't giving up no blood. They're cousins.
I still got hope, man. I still got hope, because what we got to understand is in 2 years there's another election. In 2 years there's another election, and we have to get control over the Senate and or the House. We have to put a stop to some of this stuff somehow, you know, and hopefully that's the only hope.
that Bama gonna put in some laws that's gonna you can't even vote
And
anymore. Man.
that's the thing. Yeah, part of me don't believe he's gonna come out of office for real, but
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think he put his people in places where if you tell him
he's
the
an
Supreme
agent,
Court,
bro. He's a foreign agent, man. I don't care what nobody say. There's
he
nobody in their right mind is ever going to go to a place where you work against your own people, your own country, to tear it down. Just because you don't like certain things, you don't go and tear it down, bro. That's just me. It's insane to tear it down and cause chaos and confusion. Here's another thing. Satan is the author of confusion. That's what they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he's he's the author of confusion, what is this man doing? Causing chaos and confusion. But y'all want to see this, the political talk I want to say, but y'all chose that. Let's just say that we can get off on this one, but this is a conversation I want to have, right? The political part, right? For all of y'all people who didn't vote for Vice President Harris, right now, if he didn't rescind that order, the country would still be in chaos, and he took all the federal aid away from people.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all chose to take food out of your own children's mouths. Y'all chose to take your kids' opportunity and financial aid away from them to get into college, which is what Jerry, I don't know if you told him, Jerry put on Facebook. He said, man, he was teaching in higher education for almost 20 years. And he said enrollment last year was terrible. And you want to take away the finances for higher education is going to destabilize and cripple a lot of these four-year institutions. But y'all chose all of that. Free lunch for your kids, your SNAP, your WIC, all of these different things, all of these assistance programs that even help black-owned businesses. You freeze all of that, all because y'all don't like the LGBTQ community. Make that make sense. Y'all chose not to, because birth control and abortions was so much bigger than feeding kids in school. Birth control and abortions is so much bigger than snatching kids out of their classroom. But that's what y'all wanted. Okay.
Yeah.
And on that, I ain't got nothing else to say, man. We can say that conversation for another day. But
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's crazy to me. Like, I'm not going to vote against my own best interests. I work in the school system. Why would I vote for somebody that's going to tear down my job and stop me from working in the school system and take away opportunities as an African American to own black businesses and do different things? Like, why would I choose that? But okay.
Hey, man. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode, man. Again, this is the Final Notice podcast. We definitely are streaming live on Facebook at Final Notice Podcast on Facebook. We also got our IG page. So we're on Instagram too as well. And also we are on YouTube, man. If you haven't subscribed to our channels or our page, go ahead and subscribe and follow. We have a lot of great content as far as great conversations that, you can go back and look at to see if any of those will apply to you, where you can either use some of the knowledge and information, or you can actually share that for somebody else that might be in need for it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can always go back and actually watch the first part of the tunnel vision, which I think is very, very interesting and very, very informative, so that way you can get caught up to where we at with this conversation right here. We don't take you guys for granted. We thank you guys for tuning in. Myself and Aaron, we definitely, we take our time to come up with these conversations to hope that it reaches somebody. If it's not everybody, just that one person that may be going through some of the stuff that we've gone through or may go through in future, man.
Yeah. We thank you. And I'm grateful and appreciative of everyone who tunes in, who text me or give messages and ask questions. I'm grateful for all of it, because we're going to, like I said, do better when we grow together.
Awesome. Well, y'all have a good day, man. Have a good week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see y'all next week.